Slumpbusters, and happy Thanksgiving. It is time for our Turkey Day Throwdown as we have 6 teams competing this Thursday. And yeah, I mean, they're NFL games, I suppose. We have the Bears, Lions. We get our annual Lions game. Raiders, Cowboys, Bills, Saints. A lot of big lines this week. Let's see. Cowboys have an 8-point line. Bears have a 3-point line here because they go against Tim Boyle. And the Buffalo Bills are 5.5-point favorites facing Trevor Siemien. Fun. Kyle Ledbetter, let's just get it out of the way here. What are your picks in all 3 games?
Well, I think the best place to start is with the Thanksgiving classic of not just Tim Boyle, but Tim Boyle versus Andy Dalton, of course, here on Thanksgiving. And for those who have been tuning in to take it easy, we will not seriously discuss the Chicago Bears at all for the remainder of the next 10 months. They're going to fire their coach. They're going to lose Allen Robinson. They'll replace him with a mid-level wide receiver. They'll probably cost like $6 million a year. They don't have a first-round pick, and all the conversations are going to be, how are we going to turn around Justin Fields, which nobody's going to be able to know till they play games. So yeah, Bears, Nagy's going to get fired eventually. By the way, Bears fans were wilding when they chanted fire Nagy at his kids' flag football game. I feel like that's a bit much.
That's too much.
That Bears fans, y'all wild. Y'all are a little wild. I know I poop on you a lot, but that's one I will say. Well done on your part. But even so, I will take the Detroit Lions to win their first game of the season with Tim Boyle. Not because of Tim Boyle, but because DeAndre Swift is pretty good at running the football, and the Bears are not going to score any points, which means there's a 50-50 shot they're going to win. And I believe in Detroit getting their first win on Thanksgiving since 2015, which is really brutal. And then in the last 2, I'm going to go chalk on this. Cowboys, Bills. Both of them are going to get wins. Even though the Cowboys might be without CeeDee Lamb again, he got I think a concussion or a head injury in the last game. So he might be out. That changes the math a bit. Cowboys are better than the Raiders because the Raiders are not actually that good at football. The Buffalo Bills are going to win because the Buffalo Bills have Josh Allen. And the Saints defense is very confusing. So maybe the Saints defense generates 3 turnovers and they actually do end up winning. And I get to come here next week and do my little dance saying, yep, the Saints were actually better than we thought they were. But I still think the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game because it's the most probable scenario. I don't have the cojones to pick the Saints in this one.
Yeah, looking at these 3 games, I have to say, obviously, you get the easy ones out of the way. I agree with you, Cowboys-Raiders. I agree with you on the Bills over the Saints. The Bears-Lions might be the most interesting game just for the simple fact that we have a team that literally a report came out that everyone in that locker room has quit on Matt Nagy. That is a report out of Chicago today. The only reason the Bears haven't fired him in their 101-year history, they have never fired a coach mid-season. So they don't want to establish precedent now, which I guess is respectable, not firing a guy in Thanksgiving Day week. Actually, I don't know. Maybe Matt Nagy might appreciate that. Rather than game planning, gets to go home, enjoy his Thanksgiving. Has to play against the Lions.
Fired Patricia last year on the Friday after Thanksgiving, so who knows?
Maybe it's a Black Friday for Matt Nagy following this game here. But I will also mirror you. I will go with the Lions. I just think the Lions have been competitive in so many damn games this year. You just want to see the little guy get the win, the little drummer boy, the little engine that could. The Lions, come on, guys. You almost beat the Browns last week. You almost beat the Steelers. You almost beat the Ravens if it took a 66-yard field goal. I think the Lions should start a petition to join the AFC North because they've been in so many of those games aside from the Cincinnati Bengals game. The Bears here, they're just, a team that's spiraling. I don't know if Andy Dalton's better or worse for the offense. I think Andy Dalton sometimes gets a little bit too much hate that we talk about him like he's a completely inept quarterback. But the problem is, I think the Bears, their defense is not what it once was. You lose Khalil Mack for the year with a foot injury. They've taken L's on the offensive line, which that offensive line with a non-mobile quarterback in Andy Dalton. Their best chance for this game is they just got to run the ball. David Montgomery's back and healthy. DeAndre Swift is an all-world type runner, though. So I think if the Lions are playing smart, playing conservative with the ball, they should be able to keep away enough from the ball that the Bears offense isn't dynamic enough to outscore them. And I think that that's just a simple recipe for them winning. The one thing I'll ask you, I guess, is what is a more impressive start? Tim Boyle game the Thanksgiving Day game or David Blau game the Thanksgiving Day game a couple of years ago? I feel like the Lions just troll us with their quarterback selections each and every year on this day.
Not only that, but you forget that the David Blau game was also against Chase Daniel for the Chicago Bears. So this is a mirror image of that game from a couple of years ago.
Literally, this game is designed for backup quarterbacks at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. The problem with Andy Dalton is that he is a backup quarterback on a totally inept team, which makes Andy Dalton look worse than he is. It's the same thing that made Nick Foles look worse than Nick Foles probably actually was. All of that to say, this is probably just the worst game period in the NFL this year. And reminder, we had, I believe it was Tyrod Taylor versus Jacoby Brissett earlier this season. And this game still might be worse than that one. And it just,
we have Jaguars Falcons this weekend, my friend. It could get worse.
Jaguars Falcons is not as bad as this.
Okay. I'll give you. You have Matt Ryan. You have number 1 overall selection, Trevor Lawrence. This one, we have literally Tim Boyle, who threw more interceptions in his college career than he threw touchdown passes.
That, by the way, Tim Boyle has made like $5 million in career earnings, which is unbelievable. That man has secure the bag, my man. Tim Boyle has fooled a lot of people just by standing next to Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years. Maybe
one day he can aspire to be Trevor Siemien. Trevor Siemien gained the night game on Thanksgiving Day football too for the Saints. Saints, I just to give a little bit of analysis there, the Saints, I just eliminate them. They're done. I think that they've just lost all their energy. Backup quarterback in. I'd like to give credit to that defense. I'd like to give credit to Alvin Kamara, but they just don't have anything on the outside. I think, they're done this season. Saints fans, the Raiders, they're just done. I'm not as harsh as you. I think that they were good at one point. And I think, to be honest, if John Gruden was still the head coach, they might have been able to get out of this rut at some point too. But the fact that they have a first-year head coach and someone they can't really scheme offensively, because the best thing you would say John Gruden brought to the team was his offensive game planning, and you lose that. So now the Raiders are just in a pit of despair that they just can't climb out of. And the Cowboys... Would
you call it a black hole?
Turn that into a meme. With the Cowboys, coming off an embarrassing loss in which their offense just got absolutely stifled. Listen, they could have beat the Chiefs because the Chiefs offense wasn't doing anything in that game. You hold the Chiefs to under 20 points, you're doing something good. But the fact that their offense couldn't throw a passing touchdown, the fact that Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott combined for 0 passing touchdowns in the game, think about that one.
I think if you had that on your bingo card to start the week, I think you were a big winner there. But I think the Cowboys defense is fine. Like, they're not as bad as I thought they were at the start of the year, but they're not as good as everyone said they were. They're fine. Their offense is good enough.
Yeah. They did what I said that they should do. Dan Quinn did give a good game plan for them against the Chiefs, and they put it to perfection. Again, you hold the Chiefs under 20 points with the Cowboys offense, you should win that football game. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, if you told me the Chiefs scored less than 20, I would say the Cowboys won that football game.
Yeah, and the Chiefs actually executing plays pretty well. It's not like the Chiefs were like making catastrophic mistakes. Like they played fine for a good part. It's just the offense, once you take away Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, the Chiefs defense is a little bit better than we thought they were at the start of the year. So the Chiefs have been fine at this point. Yeah, the Raiders, the other flip side is just they don't have enough talent. We kind of knew that coming into the year. Most people weren't picking the Raiders to make the playoffs at the start of the season. Occasionally you'd find a few people that would be on the Raiders bandwagon, but most people didn't have the Raiders making the playoffs. Some people had them finishing last place in the AFC West.
Listen, you start 3-0, it starts to be a math equation, and the Raiders just are on the wrong side of that in the last 4 weeks.
Well, yeah, they lost to the Giants. They got pummeled by the Chiefs, and then they lost last week. Well, they got pummeled by the Bengals last week. So that's 3 ends of the spectrum. That's a very good team, that's a middle of the road team, and that's a bad team. And all of them beat the Raiders this week. So yeah, it's not a great place to be in if you're the Raiders at this point. The Raiders will probably finish with 8 or 9 wins. Not going to get them in the playoffs, but they'll finish with 8 wins this year. They'll get the 17 pick in the draft and kind of just walk away with it that way. So maybe they pull the upset this week and they can sneak in as a 7 seed in the AFC.
And then, just quick Bills analysis. I think just the Bills, you get embarrassed the week before. Good teams after they get embarrassed usually come back the next week and kick ass, even if you have to travel down to the Superdome. So I expect Josh Allen to have, honestly, one of his best performances of his career. I'm going to say it out loud. Bold prediction. Josh Allen is going to have a huge day against the New Orleans Saints this week. He actually has a career on Thanksgiving. He pummeled the Cowboys a couple of years ago, too, I believe. Would that be his sophomore season?
Yep, that would be.
Had a great day. Ate a big-ass turkey leg that day. I say he gets the nightcap here and gets to do the same. By the way, just minor thing. Yay or nay? Lions eliminated from Thanksgiving.
Oh, I talked about this on today's Take It Easy. I think the Lions should be on Thanksgiving for the rest of time because I root for content more than anything else. And the Lions are always great content because either they lose and we can make funny content about it, or someone loses to them and we can make funny content about it. Also, I know we complained a little bit about the games not being that good. I'm fine with Thanksgiving games being average. Some people are making food. You're talking to people. Football is not the main course on Thanksgiving. So if you're going to give me just a heaping of Bears Lions or a heaping of Bills and Saints, I'm actually not that upset about it. Last year, the Thanksgiving game got canceled because of COVID between the Ravens and the Steelers. I had a fine Thanksgiving without football. It really wasn't that bad. So football doesn't have to be the main course on Thanksgiving. You can give me some Bills and Saints on primetime, or I think 2 years ago it was Saints and Falcons and Matt Ryan getting stiff-armed into oblivion, or you can give me some butt fumble on the night game. Like if you give me that, I'm okay with it. It doesn't have to be an all-timer kind of game. You can give me a little something, just a little taste of something else. And maybe you can switch over and watch Lane Kiffin's last game in the Egg Bowl.
See, on the podcast, check out the full podcast, the Slumpbuster YouTube channel. We compared games to Thanksgiving Day dishes. I would say all three of these games right now sounds like the equivalent of not having turkey on Thanksgiving, not having a well-cooked, proper turkey, but literally going to your local deli and getting a turkey sandwich on Thanksgiving as you stay alone in your single guy apartment. That is what the equivalent of these three games are. Anyway, Slumpbusters, let us know what are your game day selections. I imagine we're going to be all pretty unison on this one here, unless you're a Bears fan who just hates Kyle, but that's a story for another day. At Slumpbusters Podcast on IG, at Slumpbusters Pod on Twitter. Check out our partner, cavemancoffeeco.com. Yes, cavemancoffeeco.com. Don't be a chump. Use promo code SLUMP at cavemancoffeeco.com. Juju Talk Sports, Kyle Ledbetter. We'll see you on the next one.